Welcome back, fellow Tenno. This is the Loot Doctor, and today we're delving into the world of Protea with two distinct builds that'll redefine your Steel Path experience. But before we delve in, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the new subscribers. We're at 170 subscribers. The support has been amazing, and I've appreciated and read every single comment on all my videos and replied to many of them. And I'm so glad that all of you are joining me on this experience, and I'm so glad that all of you are supporting me in my journey to becoming a YouTuber. But enough of that, let's get into the builds. Our first build will be a Protea Armor Shred build. It's a generalist build for all content, and it's got Armor Shred built in to allow you to easily deal with any Steel Path. Following that, we're going to cover my Heavy Weapons Protea build, which is a lot of fun, but is not 100% level 9000 endgame scaling. So we'll get into that. If you're a returning viewer, don't forget to subscribe, turn the notifications on, and like the video. Comment if you need to. Your support gets us closer to each greater milestone, and I'm excited to have you all on this journey. So now let's go over Protea's abilities. Protea is the ultimate adaptation frame. She's the timely technician. She's amazing at being able to handle almost any mission that you throw at her, but not being really specialized in any single mission type. Her passive is every fourth ability cast grants 100% bonus power strength to her next ability. So as you can see in the background footage, I'm going to cast 3 abilities here, and you'll see the meter build up in the bottom right hand corner. That meter shows off how many abilities we've casted, and you'll see on the 4th cast we have 100% bonus strength. I use it here to cast shield satellites. Protea's next ability is Grenade Fan. Grenade Fan has 2 different use case scenarios, on tap and on hold. On tap, you throw Shrapnel Vortex, and that's the one we'll be going over here first. On hold, you throw Shield Satellites. We'll be going over Shield Satellites in a little bit. So, on tap, throw out 3 Shrapnel Vortexes in a fan-like pattern. These grenades release blades in all directions that constantly stagger and bleed proc enemies, dealing damage to them. The second bit of footage I added here was to show that when I turned on the enemy's AI, they're unable to deal damage to me because they're constantly being staggered by the slash vortexes. Now, to most people, the damage may look minuscule because slash grenades aren't amazing at dealing with high-level enemies with a lot of armor. But the slash procs do stack and build up. Eventually, all of these enemies will die. And now we'll go over Shield Satellites. Shield Satellites allows you to throw out 3 or 4 fanned Shield Satellites. These Shield Satellites provide overshields and, most uniquely, provide a 3-second time period of shield gating on break. You can see here that I just turned on the enemy's AI and kept throwing down shield satellites, and it's nearly impossible for me to die. I do die in this clip, but that was just because I was being careless. Obviously, if you were taking this much fire, you would try and find some safety or try and fight back in some way. But you can see that even while I'm just standing here and not really doing anything, it's very hard for the enemies to kill me. And now we'll go over Protea's bread and butter, the Blaze Artillery Turret. This is a stationary turret that shoots in a cone direction, and it targets all enemies and applies a blaze proc to them. It shoots all enemies that it can see and as many enemies as it can find. It has a short duration, but the damage ramps up over the duration. That's what the counter is on the turret. You can see here it goes all the way up to 32, and then it stops. So each shot increases the damage of the next shot. Uniquely, the Blaze Turret has infinite punch through. That allows it to punch through all enemies and reach to the end of the line of enemies. So this creates some interesting combinations, where if you can manage to get a grouping tool and group a large amount of enemies, you can pull off something in this clip, where I have no armor shred in this clip, but if I manage to group the enemies using Nautilus, you can see that the Blaze Turret will ramp very quickly all the way up to like upwards of 40% bonus damage on its combo multiplier. So here's me just testing and showing you that the Blaze Turret isn't really doing that much damage by itself, but eventually Nautilus will group the enemies here, and you'll see that the Blaze Turret will ramp up at an excessively fast speed. Here's the group, and then I place down a Blaze Artillery here, and you can see that it quickly goes all the way up to 32%, 44% damage right there. And here I wanted to show a quick clip of the fact that the turret is a cone. It will not shoot enemies that it cannot see. It only shoots in 180 degrees in front of you. So you can see here that I place it a few times and it won't shoot these enemies because they're behind the turret. This next one will be a quick one. This is Protea's third ability. It's her Dispensary. Dispensary is a placeable object that stands completely stationary. It cannot follow you and it cannot move, and all it does is spit out universal ammo, health, and energy constantly throughout its duration. It will not spit out a new version of an object unless the previous version has picked up. You'll see me test that here in a second. I'll grab the ammo and the energy, and then it spits out new ammo automatically and new energy right after. I pick up the energy again, and then it spits out a new energy ball. It will not spit out a new health ball or a new energy or a new ammo unless the previous one has been picked up. And now, the reason that she is called the Timely Technician. Protea's fourth ability, Temporal Anchor, allows you to place an anchor and then run forward, use energy, use ammo, use whatever you want, and kill enemies and do damage, and then at the end of the duration, it returns you all the way back to the beginning, restoring all lost resources and even bringing you back to life. I say bring me back to life, but this is not absolute safety. Here you're going to see me test the Temporal Anchor trying to save me, and you'll see that I return but immediately get shot as soon as I get up. Because as soon as you return, if you have died, you will stagger and fall on the ground, even with maxed out Prime Sure-Footed. So the best way to use it would be to place the anchor somewhere that's safe and then run forward and do what you need to do and die or whatever you need to do, and then you'll get returned back to the safe position. And so now let's get into the builds. The first build is going to be the basic build that focuses on max range. This build is usable in all content, and it's 100% steel path viable and can scale all the way up to level 900, 9000, whatever you want to do. The first part of this footage is just me showing off some drip, and if you just want to see what I'm rocking for my customization for my Protea, and then we'll get into the actual build. Okay, so the build. In the aura slot, I'm using Growing Power. This is so that whenever you're proccing status effects with Blaze Artillery or anything else, you're getting Power Strength. Prime Sure-Footed. I'm sorry if you don't have Prime Sure-Footed, it's just necessary. A little bit of ability duration. Rolling Guard for safety. Intensify just for a little bit of Power Strength. Post-editing note here, if you have Archon Intensify, that would be 100% better in this slot, because Archon Intensify allows it so all heat procs are procced twice, so Blaze Artillery would apply 2 times as much status effects. Stretch for a little bit of range. Overextended for the maximum increase of range. Augur Message for more duration. Flow because I really like energy. Everyone likes energy. And Temporal Erosion is the star of the show. It's Protea's augment that lets her armor strip. Molt Augmented for more strength, Arcane Energized for a little bit more energy. And now we'll go over the Fenmore. We have Speed Trigger on here for more firing rate. We've got Serration on for a little bit of more damage, Multi-Shot, Galvanized Chamber for more multi-shot, Galvanized Aptitude for damage, Shred, and then we've got the basic viral combo, and then we've got primary Deadhead. And then we get into the Velox. We have Cascadia Flare, Galvanized Shot, Galvanized Diffusion, Galvanized Crosshairs, Lethal Torrent, a Velox Riven. This is replaceable. Well, I'll show you some options in a second. And then we've got Viral and Heat on it. For the Riven mod, you can replace it with anything with crit chance, right? It's just a reload speed crit chance mod, so you can put Creeping Bullseye on, you can put Pistol Gambit, whether it's primed or not. A post edit on why we use the Zorus. The Zorus is a really good melee weapon because it's a glaive with infinite combo duration, as well as the fact that it has the largest blast radius for a glaive. So the things that you can do with the Zorus are very interesting, but again, the main point of the Zorus is to simply buff our Velox. The melee crescendo isn't necessary, but does help a lot because eventually on endless missions, you can get enough finishers to have that infinite 12 times combo multiplayer. And because the Zorus is infinite combo duration, you're not pressured to use it in any way until you need to use it. The Zorus build is a build centered around trying to make my Velox better. We've got Conditioned Overload, we've got a Riven on it, we've got Combo Fury, Volatile Quick Return, Mark of the Beast, Whirlwind, Killing Blow, and Blood Rush. Melee Crescendo on there. Melee Crescendo is really good, but not necessary. And now I'm going to show off the Nautilus build. The Nautilus, again, is just for that grouping type playstyle. If you don't want to subsume a grouping ability on there, the only thing you really need is the Cordon. The Manifold Bond is very recommended because it allows you to easily lower the cooldown of the grouping ability. The rest of it is all just utility to try and keep him alive and me alive. The Hailstorm is easily the best Sentinel weapon, especially if you want your Sentinel to be a primer for both your Manifold Bond and your Conditioned Overload, and these are the mods that are on that. Again, it's not set up for a damage setup, it's set up just to prime people. So here we're going to show some simulacrum gameplay of the first build. Right, the first build is that build entirely focused on shredding enemies and just placing down blaze artillery and shrapnel vortex to just shred enemies' armor and absolutely destroy them by the safety of temporal erosion with temporal anchor. You can see here that enemies just straight up have no armor and they're just dying in the distance. Some of them still have armor because they weren't affected by temporal erosion before the temporal anchor ended. But yeah, that's just some of the simulacrum gameplay. And here's just some in-mission Steel Path survival on the Kuva Fortress. Again, you can see that enemies really don't have a chance to touch me. They just get shredded by their armor, and there's not really much of an opportunity for them to fight back. And finally, the star of the show for the second build, the Mausolon. The Mausolon, I get that like not everyone's going to have arc gun mods, and especially not the arc gun Riven that I have. The Mausolon, but is definitely the best arc gun in the game for basic content and just running around. It's just a very clean arc gun. It has a very high rate of fire, a very generous ammo pool, and then every 5 kills you get that supercharged wind-up railgun shot that has a massively large RPG radius. And this is our second Protea build, also growing power with prime sure-footed. And this one's highly focused on strength, so we have blind rage, rolling guard for safety, transient fortitude for more strength, stretch for just a little bit of range, primed flow for energy, augur secrets for more strength, augur message for more duration, And finally, Precision Intensify, which is our big winner, and it's what really brings this whole build together and allows us to really reach an insanely high strength amount on our Zata's Whisper. So it's 294 strength, but that's not included the 90% strength for Precision Intensify, considering that Zata's Whisper is on our 4th ability. We have Augur or Molt Augmented for more power strength, and Arcane Energize for more energy. And then here's some simulacrum footage for what the Mausalon build looks like against high-level enemies. So first we got to cast that 100% bonus power strength passive with the Zata's Whisper. And then you just hold down the trigger. And then eventually the Nautilus will group enemies, making it a little bit easier for you to just focus fire on one specific point. And you can see that it shreds enemies. It's able to handle steel path enemies. Even if they're armored, it still manages to do a really good amount of damage. But it's just, hey, I have a minigun and I just want to hold down the trigger on enemies. So yeah, throughout this guide, we've delved into Protea's versatile builds and uncovering unique synergies and optimizing her potential across different playstyles. And closing off here, I just want to, again, extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of our new subscribers. Your support is invaluable and really drives me to continue making these kinds of videos. To all future members joining us, I'm thrilled to have you join our journey. This is the Loot Doctor, a hub for discovering all things looter shooters and anything having to do with loot. We make build videos, redefining strategies, and embracing the unpredictable world within Warframe and many other games. I'm your host, the Loot Doctor, prescribing a healthy dose of good RNG in your Warframe adventures. Remember, adaptability is key, and experimentation leads to mastery. May your missions be prosperous, your drops be bountiful, and your victories be legendary. Until next time, Tenno, stay curious and keep looting.